going ahead in this particular application and their characteristics is a very important topic for us to understand. This will give us a clear-cut idea that how applications are being built and what are the components and what are the characteristics which are very important for us to understand. Every software application comprises of various components which work together to give the desired output. So what are those? Let's first understand user interface. This is one of the most crucial component of any software. Why do buy something? Why do people buy something? It's a normal theory. If I ask anyone a question that why you are buying something, the obvious answer is because I like to. It looks good. It looks good. That means a UI is good. What if you are getting a website or a web application to work with which is having a dark background or maybe fluorescent background? It's harmful to our eyes. We may tend not to use that particular application. And that's where user interface is very crucial. User interaction with the application, inputting or viewing data navigation include multiple screens and comprises of various controls. Again, I would like to give you a very simple example. If you're working or if you're dealing with a email application, let's take an example, Gmail application, and you are entering your ID and password. What if the position of this particular user ID and password is interchanged? It will give us a slight trouble, and this trouble may lead us to stop using that particular application because it's not comforting to our eyes. This is how UI works. Second, role specific functionality. Now, every application may not be having this type of component added, but majority of applications do have. And when it comes to software testing, we have to understand and we have to think from this particular role specific angle. For example, there are certain applications where admins are allowed to do certain tasks where the normal people are not. For example, HR application. Now there must be some HR who is an admin who can have different privileges. That HR can create an employee, but that employee will have a limited access, maybe uploading photo, providing some information, or maybe applying leave, or maybe filling up the timesheets. But that particular employee will not have an access to even to view the leaves applied or the timesheet submitted for the entire employees. This is how the role specific functionalities differs, and in testing we need to consider those. Business rule validations. Business rules. This concept may be new for many of us. Business rule, in a simple language, business rule is a way to use that particular application. Like if I want to use any application or an application which is called as ABC, for example, I have to first log in. Then I have to give some other credentials. I have to enter the CAPTCHA. I have to enter some password. Then I have to click on OK, and then my session will get established. This is a very simple example of business rule, but those needs to get validated. One of the crucial for every application, database. Now, when I say database, what is the definition of a database? Database is a collection of related data. That means for an application, the database is defined. The rules are defined. We call them constraints. So constraints are defined. So if I'm looking at any application from tester's mindset, I need to understand how the database is designed. That means I should be knowing the schema. I should be knowing what are the constraints, what are the field level validations set, and accordingly I can plan my further activities. How do I come to know whether the processing is done or something the application has provided is in the right way? I need to have a report. So again, reporting is a very important and crucial component when it comes to application. Interface. Interactions with other applications or devices. The simplest example, if we are using Amazon.com or any web application which is allowing us online shopping, it has an interface with outside world. Like it has an interface with a bank gateway. So as soon as we reach to checkout, we click on pay, the screen changes. We reach to the bank page, which we have selected from the application. This is what we are talking about, interface point of view, through file or through data transfer. Application is running. Obviously, when an application runs, it creates a data. It creates a data in form of logs. So if something goes wrong in future, a developer or the administrator should have to look into that particular logs to understand what exactly went wrong at what given point of time, and also after what inputs was given. And this is what logs provides us, again a very vital part of an application. Backend processes. When I say backend processing, the first thing hit in my mind that there has to be some processes which are running in the background without manual intervention. Even though when I am speaking to you or you are listening to me, if you're listening to me on your mobile application or on a laptop, there are certain backend processes which are getting executed. Like for example, your some apps may be getting updated, or your software in your laptop may be getting updated. At least if you have an authentic antivirus installed, that keeps on getting updated. And this is what we call it as backend processes. Like what I said just now, every application has certain backend processes which are running. Maybe some APIs, maybe some interfaces, those get updated, and we need to validate and maintain those for this application to execute smoothly. Concluding, if I see from any application point of view, there are certain components which are very, very important for us to understand. First, user interface, which is look and feel from user point of view. Role specific functionality. Most of the applications provides restricted access. Depending upon your privileges or the role in organization, your accesses keeps on updating. Business rules are nothing but how you're going to use that particular application. So validations of those particular business rules needs to be there. Every application, big or small, has its own database, and database is designed by considering some requirements about that particular data and application usage. We have to ensure it remains intact. An application, when it is running, when it's in the use, as a user, we expect it should give us some inputs. That's where reports come in a picture. Any application interfacing with another application, that is where the interfaces comes in a picture. When application is running, a data is getting generated, which gives us insight if something goes wrong, or even the insight regarding how the application is behaving. Logs comes in a picture. And to execute any application or any software smoothly, there are certain backend processes which are designed. Those should be up and running. Combination of all these things gives us this our application, and this covers our application components. Now, like components, there are certain characteristics of applications as well, which we need to consider while developing or testing, which we will see in the next chapter. Thank you.